Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Time Profit. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. One quick second. Here we go. Boom. All right. Dang. Okay. Well, I'm looking at SQs and TQs due to the overall direction / NQ. And it had let me just show you. So I love how all this happens as soon as I remove my position. This is annoying. There's gonna be like a lot of coughing, so if you have like a headphone, or if you're a headphone user and stuff like that, I just want to give you like a fair warning that we're most likely gonna be having quite a bit of coughing within the live stream. I do apologize, but yeah. Here we go. Here we go. So this is pretty much what I was following. / NQ. I had a really nice, it was showing a really nice signs of an uptrend, right? It peaked out right around the 7.65 area, began to show signs of a downtrend, pushed up, and literally right now, right before the market opened, about 5 minutes before, it pushed up, peaked out, and then began to sell off. And then right as the market opened, it had a very aggressive sell off. How that correlates on over to SQs, just to put into perspective, actually it has not affected it too crazy. It's gone up about 4 cents, and there it goes. So just broke above 30 again. I can try to catch it or catch whatever it is that I can with it and stuff like that, but based on how it's been trading during pre-market hours, it'll most likely peak out right around 11.32. And kind of go from there. So I just got an alert that Tesla's one that I've been watching closely just due to recent patterns. Looks like it just broke below 2080. Looks like it broke below 287, 288. One of the things that I find pretty attractive about Tesla is based on just the current price point of where it's at, so around that 280 price point, based off previous patterns. So again, right around here, this general area, right? This general area, this general area, this general area. Like it's viewed as somewhat of a low point, right? And I find that to be very attractive because, again, it's not like Tesla's like the most volatile company out there, but I think for it being a multi-billion-dollar company, the volatility that it does experience is something for a lot of maybe like short-term swing traders, that if they set themselves up correctly, the margin of profit is decent, right? So like from like 280 to the SMA line was about 13%, and then it sells off, right? And then it finds its support at 300, and then it pushes back up again, and that's 6.5%. So again, just talking as of right now, but based off previous patterns and based off of the current, and previous support that it's had, it makes sense on around this general area. Why it can bounce, there's no confirmation. There's no confirmation yet, and based off previous patterns, it can hit as low as 250, 260, and stuff like that. So, one second. Let's go and check this out. Here we go. So / NQ. Again, the volatility has been pretty crazy. Picking right back up again. Is there anything that you guys appreciate that yellow flower? Is there anything that you guys are watching that is like very distinct of the direction that it's going? So I think / CL for the day makes a lot of sense on why this is showing signs of an uptrend. Then that should be in favor of UWT. I'm just kind of over trying to, especially with like /NQ, /NG. I mean, I tried it with NQ yesterday and didn't really do very well. As in, like, try to just identify something that was showing signs of an uptrend, and just kind of go with the flow with that one. But it just changes. It's just very inconsistent. Same thing with like natural gas. Natural gas was showing signs of an uptrend, and literally, an hour before the market opens, it changes its overall direction, and then it tries to recover again. And it's just so inconsistent that it's like, do I even want to be a part of that? So /CL looks like it's doing pretty well just because of that consistent uptrend pattern. So I think I'm going to take part of that. I did also see oh my goodness, come on. I did also see that gold was if I'm not mistaken, gold was selling off, but then now it's beginning to recover and stuff like that. Where's it at? /GC. Yeah. I wouldn't say that this is very consistent as of right now. It is trying to recover, but it just, like, literally right before the market opened, sold off below the middle view up in the EMA line and stuff like that. So it just doesn't make, it's not super clear. And yes, you can go for it, and I'm sure there's margin there, but it's not going to be super consistent. There it goes. UWT just completed that margin. It's just not a good, like, and now these things are so overpriced. I'm going to pop up /CL on my second screen, just so I could have a better understanding. It's just like now /CL is super overbought. And yes, it can continue to rally and uptrend, but it's just like, I'm just so annoyed now of a lot of these. It just has to do with timing and when the market opens, which is normally when we begin to trade. I feel a lot of us feel forced to, or a lot of pressure to trade. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just the direction isn't that clear for me, and those that do offer clear direction are not good deals. The margin of profit just normally doesn't look like it's worth it, and it's just not my style. So now I'm kind of just like, maybe I don't want to do it. So Tesla right off the bat is already down another 3.3%. That's pretty crazy. Appreciate that. Thank you. Can you check out ticker symbol AU? Yeah. Okay, I'll check that out too, Alex. This is gold as well, right? Yeah. Okay, so very consistent uptrend pattern. If you look at the overall pattern and direction of GC, it's almost very similar. Very consistent uptrend pattern with a very aggressive recent sell-off. So I don't think it would be a bad idea to keep a close eye on /GC. And then looking at AU, obviously there's a lot of consolidation that's happening here. And I would set a series of alerts for the confirmation. The MACD looks really good. The RSI looks amazing, but there's just no confirmation. So we don't know if, again, I talked about this when I was sick, and I made a comment on it. I don't know if you were able to catch it, but I asked you guys, I was like, what do you think about /GC? Do you think that this is a sell-off for a good dip buy opportunity, or do you think that this is the beginning of an actual sell-off? So the other one would just be a pullback, correct? And people were giving their opinions on both sides. I don't care what it is that you think. You shouldn't care what it is that I think. You should develop your own opinion, your own plan, and set up a plan for success. So if you think that AU is going to, recover and reverse, what do you need it to do for it to identify that confirmation before you choose to trade your hard-earned money into AU, right? Same thing with if you think it's going to sell off. What is it that you needed to confirm before you take a position on something like JDST, which is the inverse ETF of JNUG, which is the bull ETF for /GC, before you choose to trade your hard-earned money? It doesn't matter what it is that you like. When I ask for people's opinion, it's not ever that I'm going to trade off of it. It's to encourage you to share your opinion so you have one, just because I feel like that, empowers people to try to like learn more and hear other people out. But it's very important for you to understand like these setups, like especially for like AU, if it does end up bouncing at the SMA line, the margin of profit for recovery, and if it were to continue this overall pattern, that could be very attractive. Same thing with it selling off. That could be very attractive. So just make sure that you have a plan for success. Was that ENB? Check. Yeah. So ENB with a nice little bounce based off previous patterns, resistance right around $37. Nice little bounce off that SMA line. It's beginning to show signs of an uptrend. So I would look a little bit more into this on what caused that very aggressive sell-off. But it looks like it has a decent margin for recovery. So if you think that it could recover this, margin of profit isn't huge, but it's a decent amount where it could become attractive. So I'd kind of just look into that. It'd probably take like a week for it to fully recover, but that would be pretty nice. Huge push up. Okay, so now it looks like DGAS just had a huge push up. So I'm looking at a potential dip by opportunity on UGAS. Let's see. We'll go in with a small amount. We'll see. And there it goes, selling off. My throat really itches right now too, so I'm just trying to not talk so much, but feel free to ask any question that you have. I might have gotten into you guys a little too early. So natural gas as of right now is trending in between the middle and bottom VWAP. Yeah. So me trying to get into and profit off of you guys is more of like a scalp. So I'm just gonna have to how it's been selling off and then it recovers a little bit. It's just that recovery where I'm gonna have to sell. And then I mainly want to trade DGAS, but it's just that I see DGAS to be super overbought as of right now. What settings do you have to set to sell during pre-market hours? It's no settings that you have to set. Is when you put a limit to like buy or sell or whatever it is. We've talked about it before, and you just go right on over here, and you go to where it says day, and you click EXT, which means extended time. Extended time means either during pre-market or after-market hours. Those are extended hours. So for TD Ameritrade, it's 2.5 hours before the market opens, wherever it is that you are, that you have access to trade during pre-market hours. And during aftermarket hours, it's 4 hours. So market normally opens here at 7:30. I can begin trading during pre-market hours as early as 5. And what's it called? I can trade as late as 6 o'clock, even though the market closes at 2. So yeah, that's how it works. /NQ is selling off. Yeah, I just got the alert that SQs is still pushing up. That's amazing. What's going on, Brendan? What's up? What's up? Yeah, that trip that I took was probably the worst idea I've had in a while. It was the trip was not the bad part or anything like that. It's just I got really sick, and oh man, it was just we were just supposed to go to Shanghai, China, like we've told you guys before. 1 second. So it's pushing up. It's showing signs of an uptrend. And yeah, we're supposed to go to Shanghai, China. I don't know if you guys knew, but they didn't allow us into Shanghai due to visa reasons. And since I didn't get allowed there, they sent us over to. It's actually the carrier, the flight carrier didn't allow us, and I got super upset because they allowed us to jump on the first flight to Phoenix all the way to Canada, and then they told us that they can't let us in. And I was like, you guys should have told us at Phoenix, and we would have been okay, because that's where, the general area where we're from. And what's it called? They're like, okay, well, let's try to figure something out. And they're like, what do you guys think about Japan? Like, whatever. I spent over $1,000 in like Airbnbs in China, and I had to let those go. So I tried to not ruin the trip for the guys. And I was just like, fine, let's just go to Japan. We went to Japan, got there for 2-3 days. Honestly, we just didn't we liked like the area and stuff like that, and it was cool and it was different, but it wasn't what we expected. So then I told the guys, I was like, hey, like, I'll book your guys' flights, like, let's go to Spain. We went to Spain. We went out one night. I got super sick. I'm not too sure if I ate something, and super sick as in like my fever was like 102, 104, nonstop for 3 to 4 days, and then I was throwing up and had a cough the entire time. So the bad part was not even that I was sick there, but it's that we had to travel to then London, and there was a layover in Portugal, and then going through all these customs and TSA while having a huge fever, while having a huge cough and headache and all that. It was just, that was the really terrible part of having to go through the airport when you feel like poop, right? And again, it's like, oh no, like, how bad could it be? You're traveling. Not only was I sick, Michael was sick, and so was Weston. And that's where it kind of just, ruined the trip. So I'm still sick. Weston's still sick. Michael's still getting better. And Ishmael just got sick by taking care of all of us. So, yeah, that was kind of the trip. Yeah, let's go ahead and break that down. So, consistent downward pattern for BEAT. As right now, it's still trending down. I see why does it you see value in it. So, Adam, the easiest way for me to put it is there's a reason you see value in this, right? Because of the pattern, the direction that it's pointing, and how it normally trends up. Where it's at right now and the direction that it's pointing is absolutely the exact opposite of what it normally does when it trends up. So again, asking you the question, what is it that you need BAT to do? Not what you want it to do, but what should it show before it confirms an uptrend. It doesn't mean that it ever has to. This thing can go south and go all the way down to $40, and you're never going to touch it. But what is it that you need BAT to do to show its qualifications for it to be something that you actually trade? That's how you should approach it. Okay, why do I see value in this pattern? And what's going on right now? What's the difference? Right now it's trending down, it's trending below the EMA line, all that stuff, right? Everyone's telling me to sell. But one second, sorry about that. How many shares do I have? Okay. 120, 124. So not a huge amount, but a decent amount. What percentage was that? You saw the amount of shares I had. I don't know. That's why when everyone asks me, like, Ricky, show us your percentage. What is it that you made today? I hope you guys know that my position size is sometimes different than my account size. And sometimes I take $15,000 position sizes and, but I normally take 30,000. And within the day, sometimes I take $15,000 position sizes, and then I take another 30, and then I take another 15. So, are you guys asking me for my percentage based off of my overall account or based per trade? Or you can calculate it yourself. So I took a 600 share position size of ticker symbol UGAS, and I sold for $124 profit for those that care that much. Yeah, I had 600 shares, Nicholas. I was averaging up. The 120 shares that you just saw, this is on ticker symbol DGAS, not UGAS. I was just trading UGAS. They're different price points, bud. Is it safe to swing trade you guys? Give me one reason why it's safe to swing trade you guys. No, I'm serious. Like, you're asking for my opinion on why or what I think about you guys. I want to know why you think you guys is a hold. All right, I got filled at 89.13. Do you ever do a percentage of your No. When it comes down to risk management and my initial position size, yes. But do I calculate how much I made at the end of the day in comparison to my exact overall trades? I don't care that much to do that, no. Why don't you scalp penny stocks? I just don't. It's just not something I want to do anymore. So for /NG, so again, if you have a reason behind your swing trades and it's been going well for you, great, all power to you. I do agree that the general direction of natural gas has been showing signs of an uptrend, and I think that's great. You're able to identify that. It broke above the SMA line. It's in your favor. Great. Now you just have to understand that it's been consolidating at or below that like 2.88 resistance, which is an obvious resistance that we've talked about before. And if it hasn't made sense to you, then you haven't been really paying attention. That you are aware of, just because it's been going well for you, to not become blindsided by, your success rate or anything like that, because again, I don't know how much it is that you are up. I don't necessarily care, congratulations, but one of the things that should be very important to you is risk management. And if you continue to think that you're gonna have it figured out, it only takes one bad trade to wipe out all those profits, and that's something that I would highly encourage you to take into consideration before continuing to swing trade as heavily or maybe as aggressively as you are, especially if you don't have the proper risk management, in mind. Wow. Appreciate that. Thank you. That's been my biggest thing, and I can speak from experience, and I'm telling you this, and I'm sorry if I said it in a tone that was a little bit not as polite, but a perfect example was almost a year ago from today. I was very aggressively I was doing amazing when I think it was almost a year ago from today that I did $5,000 to $25,000, and it took me 3 months, which is ridiculous, right? And I was just short-term swing trading everything. I don't know for those that were part of it, if you guys remember. But I was doing a really good job just consistently swing trading a lot of these different ETFs Gush /GC and the correlating, JDST and JNUG. Not even so much of natural gas or anything of that sort, but SQs and TQs and stuff like that. And it took one trade to slap me back into place, and it was the aggressive sell-off of DRIP. And I remember I took a $2,000 loss or something like that on that one. And it reminded me that again, it doesn't matter how cool or how consistent I think I am. If you don't, and this is the easiest way to put it, if you don't manage your risk, like if you simply do not manage your risk every single time that you trade, you will not be successful in consistently growing your account in the stock market. That simple. I don't care if you can grow your account 100% in 3 months. If you could not manage how much money you give back, if you can't control that, if you can't control your emotions, if you can't control and pulling the trigger and cutting losses, you will not be able to consistently grow your account. Again, it doesn't matter about technicals. It doesn't matter about how good you are at finding stock, support, and resistance. If you are not good at cutting losses, right, defense, you will not make it in the stock market. So you could repeat that time after time and after time. So if there's any area of opportunity, so for all those that are listening to this for the first time, give me one quick second. For those that are listening to this for the first time and are like, well, why is he making such a big deal of this? $164.40. 288 on the day. Yeah. If you're someone that's just getting started, if this is the first if this is the first live stream that you ever watch of me within, Learn, Plan, Profit or anything like that, write this down. Like, if there's any area of opportunity that I wish I would have become a true professional in, is managing risk. And if you don't want to swing trade something, if you solely want to day trade, perfect. Because that means that you can control exactly, right? Exactly how much it is that, you give back. So, I'm so sorry for coughing so much, guys. So /GC just had a huge sell-off. I'm going to try to see if it could try to make a recovery. So let's check this out. So look, right now I got filled at an average purchase price of pretty much 9.59, right? So 9.59, right? So for all my people that are like, well, how do you manage risk? All that stuff, right? I took a, 1/3 position size. So I'm going to manage my risk at 1%, right? So that's going to be around the 9.48 general area. So I'm going to click sell. I'm going to go here. And it's again going down to the very basics. I'm going to click 100% of my position. I'm going to click stop. And I'm going to put it at 1.47 because that's where I'm going to manage my risk. And I'm just going to have it so it automatically does it regardless of what I care, what I think, what I hope, what I desire. Because again, my opinion is completely irrelevant to the market, right? It doesn't matter, and there it goes. It's selling off, and if it gets triggered, that was my fault, right, for getting in way too early. I can't blame that on anybody else. I saw a dip by opportunity. It could have played out very well, right? If I bought there and then it pushed all the way back up to, there it goes. I got filled, stop lossed out, and lost $119. I got in way too early, and I can't blame anyone for that. It was my fault. But what's going to hurt a lot more is if I don't manage my risk here, is if it continues to sell off and I just ride, that bleeding down. That's not going to be very fun, right? So here we go. Let's try to have some fun. with the inverse. All right. That was at 4.5. What's going on, Matt Daughtry? Thank you. It's all good. It's just a little cough now. Here we go. Let's see what we can make happen. Ahmed, if you want me to break that down, then make sure you post it in the ticker call-out format, please. Did you get the commission down to $3? Yep. Yep. We've talked about that before. Here it goes. It's pulling back. That means /GC is trying to push right back up. What's going on, Josh? What's up? Thank you, Caleb. I'm live right now. Tesla is down to 270. It opened at like 285. That's crazy. It's cost per trade. There it goes, selling off. /GC is pushing up very strong. So congrats to those that got into JNEG at the right time. Doesn't look like I have JNEG here. It's right around like where I bought, and there it goes, pulling back. Ricky, are you charged commission for partially filled? Of course, if you're filled at all, you're charged the commission. Yeah, it's going up, but it's not an uptrend. I like that, Izzy. So it does have potential to continue to uptrend, but most likely get rejected by this. And here we go. Let's do this. Nah, I think I'm going to be too late. There we go, CRNT. All right, let's check it out. All right, very low volume. So personally, it'd be something that I would not trade at all. I like the pattern though. The reason I'm saying is due to the volume, the volatility would be too great, especially for the dollar amount that I trade with. It just would not be something that I would want to take part of. It doesn't mean that you have to stay away from it, just doesn't meet my criteria. I like the pattern because we could kind of identify that the SMA line is normally where it bounces at. It completely is no longer near or close to the SMA line as of right now. So I've broken this one down before. It needs to break above $4, and it needs to do exactly what it's done before of showing signs of an uptrend. So what has it done before? What can you look at? How was the MACD? How was the RSI? How were the candles? How was it trading when it began to show signs of an uptrend? Because that's what it's going to need to do for it to get back to that point. Because right now, it's not showing any signs of growth. It's actually trending down. The EMA line is pointing down. The SMA line is pointing down. Everything is trading against CRNT. There's more reasons in my eye to stay away from it that there are to trade it. So why is this your number one stock? It doesn't mean that it can't be a prime stock, right? Meaning that when it's showing signs of an uptrend, but what is it showing here that it's not doing now? And what is it that you need it to do? So you set those alerts. So if and only if it actually does that, then you can revisit it and be like, okay, this might be something that I might want to trade. So, I mean, that's a risk that you take, Raz. So that's a really good question. So as something makes its transition from like, the bottom VWAP moving up to like the middle VWAP and stuff like that, just like, hoping that it continues to uptrend and then goes and trades like this, right, to the top VWAP, kind of like this, where it trades like that, right? You just have to hope that the momentum and the demand are there. Usually, I don't try to risk it that much, and I'll just, when it gets closer near to the middle VWAP, I'll lock in profits. And if it continues to uptrend and I see that the rally and the direction is there, then I'll choose to get back in again. But again, it depends on what your approach is. Are you aggressive enough you're okay with sitting back and letting it play out? And if so, you have to accept both sides of that spectrum, that yes, you can make more, but yes, you could also give back everything that you just made. And if that's something that you're mentally okay with, then great. But if it's not, then don't do it. Like all these trades that you guys take, I love how people act so surprised of like when they take a loss, or oh my god, I held something and it's down, like what did I do wrong? It's like you guys are all aware of like, if you guys even complete half the course, right? You guys are all aware of what you did wrong. Like that's the thing that like I don't understand. It's like we all understand of, it's not even that you did anything wrong, because like wrong means that like that was like there's never essentially like a wrong thing to do, because anything can happen. But it's like you're aware of the series of steps that you can take to manage your risk along the way. So you're the last one. Like I always tell people, don't trade based off other people's opinion. There was a message yesterday of someone saying that there's a fake account of me asking for money, that they'll trade for you and stuff like that. I've said 1,000 times that I don't trade for other people, to not like, give in to those like scams. There's people that pretend to be so many other like people with a decent following, and they'll take your money. And it's like we say all these things to avoid that position. And we say all these things of like manage your risk. Don't trade pump and dumps. Don't trade what everyone else is trading. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't trade it. We tell you to not trade more things than to actually, I've never told anyone to trade anything. Yet so many people are so confused on why they just experienced like a loss, or what just happened, or what are you doing wrong. And it's like that's so mind-boggling to me, because it's like, if you don't understand if you truly, right, for those that actually don't understand like what they're doing wrong, or why they're experiencing that loss, then why are you trading with such a large dollar amount? I just don't get that. Like, if you're just not getting it, why are you trading with such a large dollar amount? It's just, it does not make sense. If you don't feel comfortable in a market of investing money, why invest money? It's paper trade. There's all these series of like steps that you can take to obviously avoid loss. So many. Yet so few people do it. And it's not anything special. So every time that you take a loss, or every time that you discourage yourself, it's not asking yourself, oh my God, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong this time? It's just realizing to yourself what you could possibly have done to avoid that position, to not do it again. And if you don't learn from it, then you obviously didn't take a large enough loss, right? Because when I lost the $2,000, and it was because I got too confident from aggressively swing trading, I didn't do that mistake again. That loss was enough to slap me back into place. And it's something that I realized like myself. So if I bag held something and I lost 50% of my account, I learned from that loss. Trust me. I'm not going to bag hold anything else, because I know not to do that. So if you continue to experience a loss and discouragement, and you continue to take trades and it just doesn't work according to plan, again, my biggest focus for you this month is learn how to manage your risk. If you could manage your risk at 1 to 2% every single time that you trade, you will be able, just start with if you are trading, even if you're trading with fake money, but even if you are trading with real money, start with a beginner account. As in, like, I don't care how much money you have to your name. I don't care if you have $1 million to your name. Start with an account that is designed for beginners. $100, $1,000, whatever it is that you can live with. And as long as you manage your risk at 1 to 2% every freaking trade, consistency matters. I don't care if you manage your risk 99% of the trades, but if you get confident once and you lose and you swing trade and you knew you shouldn't have because you can't manage your risk and it's just not your style, and you take a 50% loss, that's your fault. And you put yourself in that position, and there's no one else that you could blame. And if you try to blame someone else, then the market isn't for you. It's like, manage your risk and become a true professional in cutting losses. If you perfect that, if you like I can almost promise you, if I can take two people, if I can cherry pick two of you right now, one person to focus on technicals and offense and maximizing profits, indicators, momentum, aggressive trading, whatever attractive style of trading that you guys glorify, pretend that you're that. And I'm going to cherry pick one other person. And yes, they'll learn a little bit about technicals and all that stuff, but what they're truly going to focus on moving forward is how to manage risk. And every time that they take a position, they cut losses or they have a stop loss every single time. They lock in profits or they cut losses every single time. And they do it in a rate that actually matters. I can promise you that the person that plays defense will outlive in the trading world the person that thinks that they know all the technicals and stuff like that. Not because they're any better or anything like that, but because their account will outlive, because you will drain your account because you're a beginner and you're going to make mistakes. The defense trader, yes, will lose 1%, but like let's say you have $1,000. How many 1% losses can you take out of $1,000? Do you guys know? Let's say there's no commission. How many losses or how many trades can you take at a 1% loss with $1,000? That's wrong. because it's not 1% of the $1,000. Think about it. $1,000. You take a 1% loss, that is removed, you cut losses, and then you take another trade. And then you take a 1% loss of that. The losses continue to get smaller as your account size gets smaller. Looks like it just cut losses on JDST. Why? That's weird. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I mean, to an extent, I can't say it's an infinite number, right? But it continues to get smaller. So you can take like a huge amount of trades just with those $1,000. So just think about getting your money's worth. Instead of blowing your account in, 6 months, if you have even done that with $1,000, just understand both sides of that, like risk management. Or why not regularly use OCO brackets? That's like really getting into it, and 100%, you can get into that with the OCO brackets and all that good stuff. But we're just talking about like those that are just getting started, and still focusing more on the defense than the offense. But trust me, like after you, I don't know if any of you guys, even if one person's going to try it, I just want you to direct message me, and you don't need to expect a response from me, but that you're gonna try, that you're actually. I don't want you guys just to message me if you're not actually gonna do it. Right? If you're just gonna continue to trade the way that you're doing, I can't do anything for you, right? But if you're someone that's going to actually, every single time that they trade, you have 3-day trades within a 5-day period, you understand that you're within the PDT rule, you have a goal of what you want to aim for, but it doesn't matter what your goal is. The biggest thing is managing risk. So if you're really going to manage your risk every single time that you trade, and it's something that you haven't done before, but now moving forward, you're going to set it out 1%, 1.5%, whatever it is that you're going to do it at. Message me, let me know, and I would like to follow up with you if you actually continue to do that 1 month. And in 1 month from when you first start, it's going to be so much easier for you. It's going to give you like peace of mind. You're not going to ever feel like, again, waking up and being down 10%. How many of you guys have ever been in that position? Waking up down 10%, 20%. It's like one of the worst feelings. Like you don't want to trade anymore. Right? Have you guys ever been in that position? But yeah. How long have I been live? Wow. I was only supposed to be live for 30 minutes, okay? All right. Alrighty. Now, of course, I'm going to go grab some food. I'm getting a little lightheaded. I need to grab something to drink, but I really do appreciate you guys' time. Thank you guys again for, joining me for the other live trading, or for, our live trading with Unlimited by Profit. So I really do wish you guys an amazing rest of your day. And I will, keep you guys up to date with what it is that I plan on doing. Like always, guys, continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. I really hope that some of you can take that to heart when it comes down to what we talked about risk management today. As I do think, like, as we're still in the very beginning months, right, of 2019, that we do make a difference in your trading, right? And if risk management has been like something that's been holding you back, then that we work on it. So yeah, thank you guys again for your time. Thank you. And thank you for all the best wishes. Thank you again, team. Bye.